Welcome to part 2 of our interview with Jim and Denice Moody. I hope you enjoyed the first part. If you haven't seen it, please go back and check it out. This is part 2 of 3, so I hope you enjoy it.
So, in our travels, we made it from San Diego all the way up to Washington State, using the Thousand Trail campgrounds mostly. And we were in Blaine, Washington. Is it Blaine?
Blaine, yeah.
Yeah.
Near the border.
Which is a wonderful park. And we were going to go into Canada. However, we're lost.
No, our cousin called us
Yes.
and said that we had talked to this couple before, and we said, when you're ready to sell, let us know. It sounds like what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Flat. We had certain specifications.
Penny Lane.
Penny Lane, on Penny Lane.
Mm-hmm.
So we just left the RV in one car in Washington, and we drove all the way to Jackson, Tennessee, and quilt shop hopped the whole way, because there was a quilt shop hop, so we went to over 50 quilt shops.
She quilts.
I quilt. So we got to visit the quilt shops.
Wow.
And we bought the house, we rented it back to the couple, and said when, they're ready to, when they find a house to buy, let us know. Went back to Washington. But the reason we did the purchase of the house, that's what you want to go into.
We had seen a lot of older couples, like in their high 80s, early 90s, huge rig, and then setting up, we were freaking out, thinking that the people were going to fall out of the steps while they're leaving, moving furniture around, just even driving the thing was terrifying. So anyway, we said we don't want to be that age and be in our rig. We need to have a plan B. And the plan B was to buy a home and use that as our base. We could have stayed on the road full time longer, but I wanted Denice to have a home to go home to if something happened to me. She couldn't drive the rig. And why do you want to know that? I'll tell you why. Because she's blind in her left eye. And her depth perception is not good at all.
And we're talking Class C.
You got Class C even.
Mm-hmm.
It just would not work. So we had to make a plan B.
Jeep. So we definitely need a plan B.
So we
And
thought
continue to stay debt free.
we bought the house, went back on the road. We're thinking we're going to be in the house for the people that rented the house from us. The house they once owned, they rented the house from us, and we thought it would take 4 to 6 months before they found another house. Well, we drove all the way back to Washington, and about a month later, hey, we found a house. So back to Jackson.
Back and forth.
And we started getting the house ready. We lived with our aunt for a month that lives 3 minutes away from our house in Jackson. And things were settled down. The people that lived in our condo in San Diego were going to stay another year. And then I got a call that they had to take care of their grandmother. Okay. Which was okay. So we drove back to San Diego, sold the condo, drove back to Jackson, and settled down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
A little bit. We went, we traveled from there until my aunt got sick. So then she had open heart surgery, and that kind of kept us close to home for a year. And then her 80th birthday, she was doing pretty good. So we did take a trip to Florida and then up to New England. And then in 2018, she kept talking about all these quilts she wanted to make for all the grandchildren and the great-grands. So her and I did that project together. And it was a total of, I think, 13 quilts we made.
And all this time you were geocaching.
No.
Oh.
All this time, I was playing pickleball. I picked it up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania,
What year?
in the year of
2017.
2017. So, while she's quilting, I'm playing pickleball. Or I go geocaching once in a while, but not as much as we had been
Right.
geocaching. And
Only because there were none to find around the
That's
house.
true.
We had found them all previously. So we'd have to drive quite a bit to find a geocache.
so things have settled down. We decided to make another run to Florida. We'd gone to Texas prior to that.
Where we met you all.
I remember that.
Yep.
Yep.
You were camped right next to us, and you were always gone geocaching
That's right.
with your friends.
That's right. And there was a big geocaching Woodstock event. And then that was over. We went back to Jackson. And is that when we went to New England?
No, we went to New England in 2017.
Got it.
That's when you started playing pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
So you played pickleball 2018 all the whole year while I was quilting.
It was a long year.
It was a very long year.
And then we were in the snow
Yeah, we got
in the
snowed
winters.
Oh, wow.
San
Rare-
Diego does not
rare
have snow
for-
where we lived in San Diego.
Yeah.
So this year, we started out at the end of September. We went to a geocaching event in Rome, Georgia, and then headed down here, and we've been bouncing between the Thousand Trail campgrounds. It's 3 of them that we go to, and we're at Peace River right now, making a video for all of you.
Yay. So, right now, y'all are not full-time. You're just
Sometime.
sometime. Yeah.
And it'll be 6 months this year,
Mhm.
and that's good.
Yeah.
Not enough, but that's good.
Yeah. So, when you're back at your house, you do your quilting. Do you play your pickleball?
I play
or-
pickleball, come home, take a nap, relax a little bit. Somebody does my yard for me,
Yay.
you know, so I don't have to do that. And I'll take a walk.
Yeah.
Him and my cousin Ronnie hang out. They do stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
my
cool.
aunt and I'll take her shopping, and I'm kind of her transportation. So she
Yeah.
misses me.
Yeah. So, what does your family think about your RV travels? Do they think you're crazy, or are they supportive, or?
They're happy. They're supportive. The kids especially are glad because they think, you know, we're out doing things. They're very excited about the geocaching because they know we're active.
Yeah.
And with him with pickleball. So most of the kids support that
Sure.
and are happy
Yeah.
for it.
You
The
go
ones
around all over, or are
Yeah.
they in one spot?
Our kids are scattered. So we have one in Washington State, one in California, one in Louisiana, and one up in North Carolina.
Perfect
So
opportunities.
Tennessee is kind of the central
Yeah.
place for us, which is one of the reasons why we picked Tennessee was the location.
Right.
It's still far enough south that it wasn't cold.
Yeah.
You know, they have cold days,
Right.
but not consistently cold.
Not like New England.
Right.
No, not like
Yeah.
where they shut everything down in May and say, we'll see you, whatever.
Yeah,
See you in May.
They
Yeah.
close the
Yeah.
parks.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
over.
So, with all of your experiences with your RVing and your geocaching and going from one coast to the other, what are some things that you've learned that might help some other RVers or travelers? Either one.
Don't overpack.
Don't overpack. Be a minimalist in your RV because you can get along with a lot less than you think you can. We would just, if we minimum wardrobe, if we got tired of it or it wore out, we'd exchange it, or the weather changed. You know, we were in Nevada and it was cold and we didn't have cold weather clothing, so we just went to Goodwill and picked up a few things and that got us through and donate. So do it, or thrift store. It doesn't have to be Goodwill, but
Yeah.
we do shop thrift store.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. The other is using the on the travel days that you don't have a park. We found Cabela's and Cracker Barrel were our two favorite places versus the truck stops were noisy.
Way too noisy.
Way too noisy, big trucks coming in and out. So we picked Cracker Barrel, which were very friendly, although you eat 2 meals a day there. Ooh,
Yes.
we can have dinner, then we can have breakfast. So that was fun. And then Cabela's was very appreciative. And then casinos are the other place
Yeah.
that we learned to stop in.
Yeah, we stayed for a week at a casino in St. Louis. It was terrific.
Can't
Yeah,
beat
it
it.
was great.
Yeah, we
They
stayed
said we
in,
could unhook and drive around on the truck and do our
Sure.
slides out.
Yeah.
was it New York? We were in that really nice one where it was all park-like setting and paved concrete things.
Yeah.
So yeah, other things is you learn to shop for a few days for your groceries. Don't overshop your groceries because you end up throwing them out. They go bad, especially when your travel days, because your refrigerator warms up enough that something could go bad.
Right.
If you have an RV, try to keep your tank full. So a lot of the RVs have an onboard generator that won't run if your tank goes down to a quarter.
Gas tank?
Right,
or-
your gas tank.
Fuel
Gas
tank.
Yeah.
So you want to keep your
Yeah.
have your fuel full when you pull in the park, as
Right.
well as your fresh water.
Right.
Because there's so many times where either the water's crummy,
Mhm.
you know,
Sulfur water in
Yeah.
Florida.
sulfur
Yeah.
water. We filter our water for our coffee, so when we are.
Yeah.
What
So
else?
tell us about your method of moving from, let's say, here back to Tennessee. You don't do it all at once, right?
No.
Okay, how do you plan that and how do you do it?
I have the campgrounds that I'm going to go to booked up in advance. So I'll spend some time trying to find a campground that's within 300 miles. That's generally about as much as we want to drive.
Right.
Max
and-
is 300.
Yeah.
I'll stay there maybe a day or two. It just depends on what we want to do.
If there are a lot of geocaches, we'll add extra days.
There you go.
That's what
You
we'll
know,
do.
so it does, geocache kind of motivates our
Right.
travel. We'll go, okay, well, we need one over in this city, so we'll go that route. So geocaching kind
As long as you don't have to be somewhere, why not?
of
Right.
dictates where we want to travel
Right.
most of the time. So, and if there's a lot, so we'll add that in. And it usually takes us to very interesting places.
Yeah.
We love the geocaching because that's the way to discover. We like traveling and we like history, and geocaching just adds an extra fun thing to that.
Right.
So when you started RVing, your children were grown already?
Yes,
Okay.
we had all our kids were on their own at that point.
Did any of
No.
them RV or
No,
any of your family?
no, no, none of them. The youngest daughter has lived the homeless life in her camper truck. You know, on occasion. I don't know what she's in a condo or a studio now,
Yeah.
but she has lived it. Just
Pretty good
because she
fallback.
didn't.
Kind of a nomad.
Mhm. Yeah, she's
Right.
our little bohemian.
Yeah.
But the other kids, they like that we travel.
Mhm.
They like that we're out.
We save a lot of money traveling.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's another thing. When we were trying to get out of debt, we leased our condo out, and then that year before I retired, we stayed between the two campgrounds. So by doing that, we were getting income for the rent.
Mhm.
We were applying the money toward the mortgage. We didn't have utility bills or the headaches of
Right.
the house type situation. So we were able to get completely out of debt, and we've maintained that. And RVing has helped us get those goals, reach them.
Right. Yep. So, would you say that you prefer staying in parks all the time, or do you like boondocking as well, or do you have
Yeah.
solar?
We
Or
have
anything?
stayed in parks
Mhm.
most of the time.
Yeah, we prefer parks.
You know, there'll be boondocking, but it's not for any extended period of time.
It's just like overnight.
right, and we
Out
have
of
an
necessity.
onboard generator.
Mm-hmm.
If we need to run the generator, we can do that.
And
but
the
we-
reason being is, one, it's a Class C, so it's small. The tanks are small, the holding tanks are small, so you really can't boondock for
Right.
any length of time.
Tell us about your rig.
I have a 2001 Lazy Days, made in California, a wonderful Class C. Look it up on the internet. It's got everything we need: an oven, refrigerator, shower, separate toilet, queen size bed.
Gas in.
It's gas
Yes.
engine, Super Duty, 450.
You can take it anywhere.
I've gone over the Rocky Mountains to across Wyoming into Washington,
Wow.
and we've made it no problems at all. Pulling a vehicle too before.
Yeah,
Wow.
totally.
And no, so it's a great vehicle.
Yeah.
We'll carry fresh water with us all the time, just as a precaution, because of some places that we've gone to, we don't want to use their water.
Mhm.
And having that backup is important. And we might not get the best gas mileage doing that, but it's worth it for us to have that
Yes.
peace of mind that we'll have
Sure.
better water.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So who does the cooking? You
I
do
do.
the cooking, right?
I do the cooking.
So tell us a little bit about your meal planning and
Well, vegan. We are vegans,
Mhm.
and that changed back in 2017. August of 2017. Yeah, August of 2017. We went
was there a
vegan.
reason you went vegan or
Jim watched What the Health and woke up. I woke up one morning. That was his midnight thing, and he says, "I don't want any more dairy. I don't want any more meat. I don't want any more fish. I don't." I'm like, okay.
Who is this man?
Who is this man? What'd you do with my husband? But I would probably be vegan anyway, just except for the cheese part. I was a cheese freak. But
me too.
so it was easy for me to flip this, and the cooking became much easier. A lot less pans, a lot less. You didn't have to worry about meat in the refrigerator spoiling, which
More
is a
single
big
dishes.
thing. More single dishes. Easier, especially on the road. I do a lot more just one bowl meals, and put everything we need in that bowl.
Yeah.
Less
So-
spoilage.
Less spoilage,
Absolutely.
a lot of less spoilage. And we've learned to eat out and how to pick, and it's becoming now more and more you can find vegan when you do eat out, when you get in a place. But
Well, it was your influence that caused us to go vegan about 4 weeks ago? 3 weeks? Between 3 and 4 weeks
yeah,
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're already seeing the benefits.
of it.
Yeah.
And we did it for his health. He looked at the cost of, he saw what my aunt went through with hers and heart problems and his, and he says it's cheaper to go vegan than it is to have heart surgery and be in the hospital.
less painful.
Yes.
And less painful.
Yeah.
And since then, neither one of us have any knee problems anymore.
Yeah.
Losing weight
I'm
naturally.
Losing weight naturally. I
No
lost
inflammations.
Not
no,
much.
no inflammations. I lost 20 pounds. He lost 30, and we've kind of stayed at that
Right.
weight. Which our body is saying that's your
Do
healthy
you feel
weight.
better?
Oh yeah, lots better. Lots better. So our meals
No regrets.
are very easy to prepare. You can find recipes on the internet, and I make stuff up. I try to veganize a meal that he would like.
Right.
Okay, how can I take lasagna and make it vegan? How
Right.
can I take spaghetti, make it vegan?
So what's your latest discovery of a place where you can go get a meal?
Winter Park Ethos Vegan Kitchen
Okay.
is absolutely the best.
Winter Park, Florida.
Winter Park, Florida.
Everything's vegan. You don't have to choose anything that you can't have. You can just order anything on the menu and look it up.
But they do tell you, they are a lot of soy, and gluten. They're not gluten free. A lot of the vegan. So if you have gluten, soy allergies, you have to read the menu. But
Right.
other than that, we don't have any of that.
So we tried something yesterday. So tell us about that.
Impossible
Oh, the
Burger.
Impossible Burger
Yeah.
that we had was very tasty.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was good.
You talk about it. I brought my own Veganese,
Mhm.
ordered it dry, got Veganese and the vegan cheese, and put that on. And it was delicious.
Yep.
It was like eating a hamburger.
I like McAllister's. It's a chain that we were
That's another
introduced to in Indiana. We wanted to figure out where could we get the best baked potatoes, so we went on the internet and it said McAllister's.
They're in Texas too.
So we went, had a huge potato. It was vegan, had vegetables. We brought our own non-dairy butter. We brought our own guacamole and added it to it,
The topping.
and we were in hog heaven. Then we found out that the town that we live in, Jackson, Tennessee, has a McAllister's. So we can do the same thing there. Here in Florida, we've done it. They were skimpy on the spinach, so and they put lettuce on it. So I kind of complained a little bit, but it didn't help. But nonetheless, McAllister's is another choice for us.
But
And we
we
go to Taco Bell.
Right, we
Yeah.
found you can always eat vegan at Mexican because you
Mhm.
can always get the beans and rice or the sautéed. What do they call it? The
Peppers and onion, pico de gallo.
Yeah, the pico de gallo and then the fajitas.
Yes.
You know,
So
the
how do you
veggie
order at
fajitas.
Taco Bell? What is it you taught us?
We order at Taco Bell whatever you want, and you say fresco, and they know to take all the dairy and cheese off of it.
And meat.
wow.
And meat. Yeah.
Of course, yes.
And in place of that, they put
Pico de gallo.
pico de gallo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we learned that.
Yeah, that was very good when we had that the other day. We
And it's
appreciate
inexpensive.
I like
Oh,
it.
it's the best
Yes.
menu
Yes.
ever. I say,
It's a
and
good-
we're out and about, when we're
They're-
geocaching and it's time for lunch. I usually pack a lunch.
That. Right.
But if we're in the city and we're going to be in the city, I don't have to pack a lunch.
Or if you're traveling down the road and you get a hunger and you
Yeah.
don't want to stop and make anything, just pull in and get Taco Bell.
Taco Bell works.
Yep.
And now,
Burger
Burger
King
King.
for the Impossible Burger.
Impossible Burger was very good.
Hopefully they'll keep it around. It says limited time only.
I know, but if they're,
yeah.
I doubt the vegans would be in the
But I'm
door.
cheap. That's too much for a hamburger. I'll go home. It's all right. I eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and be just, just as happy about
Yeah,
it.
it's over $5 for
That's
a
what I'm
burger.
talking about.
Yeah.
But that's what it is at Chili's too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
So,
a burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
$10.
I want my baby back.
No, want your baby,
Everybody.
baby back.
We hope you enjoyed part 2 of this 3-part series. If you haven't watched them, the links for part 1 and part 3 will be in the description.